Hey, how's it going, everybody? In this video, we're going to be checking out this Ducati Hypermotard I just got. Doesn't run, so we're going to be bringing it back to life. Let's get into it. And make sure you stick around till the end to find out how much this all cost. So I was browsing Marketplace and came across this, of course. And it's a non-runner, and it was advertised as having 29,000 miles. And the seller thought something's wrong with the immobilizer. I knew nothing about these bikes. So I did a bunch of research a few days before checking it out and went in with a plan and kind of understood what might be going on. Cosmetically, the bike was in really good shape and it didn't look like anyone was in here screwing around with anything. Just didn't run and nobody really wanted to fix it. And you can see the dogs, they seem like they approve. There's a well-documented problem with these called Christmas tree dash, and the coils actually take out the CAN system. Ducati had a recall on this, and they installed a CAN filter behind the dash and replaced the coils, but this one had the original coils. So I was pretty confident that this is what was going on with this, and I found a fix online. You send the parts into a company called Carmo, and they can go in there and fix the CAN system. Before sending everything in, I did go in and do some testing on the CAN system. There is a plug here, and it's got two CAN lines, CAN high and CAN low. Those should be sitting around 2.5 volts, each of them. But on this one, they were way out. With everything plugged in, they were sitting in the 6-volt area. And I did some quick troubleshooting by unplugging parts and then checking it again. And I found that with the ECU unplugged, it actually goes to normal. And other symptoms are the fans are always running, the hazards are flashing, and Christmas tree dash, all the lights on the dash are like flashing, the dash itself is flashing, and it does not crank because the immobilizer can't connect to the ECU. But here you see both lines, they're in the correct range with the ECU unplugged. So this pretty much tells us that the ECU is the problem. I took the front end apart and found that the CAN filter is actually installed. They splice it into the dash wiring right here. So the recall must have been done, but the coils were not changed. And I don't know if you caught this, but the bike only actually has 18,500 miles. It was set to kilometers. So that was a real score. But now that we know what's going on, we need to grab the black box, the ECU, the key, and the dash. And we need to ship all this stuff over to Carmo USA. And they're going to go in and test everything, fix the CAN system somehow. I don't know how they do it. Probably open it up and test stuff and then solder in new components. I don't know. But while that stuff is out, there's other stuff we need to repair. I found a hole in one of the headers on the rear cylinder. And we also have to change the coils, obviously. I picked up some Eldor coils for the Aprilia RSV4. You can also get Ducati 848 coils. There's a ton of information on this online, which ones to get. I went with the Aprilia because they're cheaper, and you get 4 of them, but you have to change the connector out. And I also found a full exhaust system on eBay for $160. It was amazing. So let's start taking this thing apart and fixing her up. Quick check-in, got the tank removed. Now we have access to the top coil. The front coil is easy because it's just down here, right there. That's pretty easy. These are all the components that need to be removed to get the tank out. You saw me down on the bottom. There's a connector that goes here and then the fuel line right there. You just gotta kind of work the thing out. It's kind of big and awkward, but it actually wasn't that hard. As you can see, here is one of the connectors to the coil. This connector is different from the other connector. So what I'm gonna do is snip this and just solder them together because they are the same colors and they're all in the same spots. Yellow, black, red, yellow, black, red. And now that the tank is out, you can see the top nut there for the header, so that'll make getting that out a lot easier. Otherwise, it's a real pain trying to get that one off. Soldering these may have been a bad idea because they could break, but I have 2 more coils to play with in case anything happens, so I'll just do a connector swap on those in the future. And the front coil is done. The wire runs through here. I did my best to isolate the solder joints from vibration, and it plugs in right there, right back there. So I'm just gonna work on this exhaust now, put this thing back together, and wait for these computers. I ended up having to make a tool to get this upper nut off of this header, and boy, there is no room. It was a real pain to get that out, even with this tool. But I got it out, and got the new one installed. Alright, Christmas come early. It's about 2.5 weeks later, and I got all my parts back. You can see here, they did find that the ECU was defective, and they went in there and repaired it. So I got a fully charged battery right here. I'm going to slap all these in, and we're going to key this thing on and see if it's fixed. Okay, the moment of truth. First key on. Please work. Oh, the dash is no longer blinking. We have no errors. I'm going to open the garage and try and start this thing right now. I need some more juice. But it cranks. It runs. Smoking because I messed with all these headers and stuff, so there's like oils from my hands. That'll burn off. I'm gonna let this warm up. I can't believe it runs. So after firing it up, I found I had a little oil leak going on down on the bottom, but luckily it was just the oil filter. I had one because I plan on doing an oil change, and that fixed the leak. I did find that I had a check engine light after it idled for a minute. The O2 sensor was throwing a code, but I also had the spares from when I bought the exhaust, so I swapped in one of those and fixed the check engine light. So I think it's about time we take this for a ride. Found that the friction zone was like really small, and it like almost wanted to pop as I would release the clutch. I don't know if that's from it sitting around for a while and it just needs to be broken back in, or if that's just how it is, or if something's actually wrong with it. I'm gonna keep riding it and see how that feels after I put about 100 miles on it. But this thing is riding like a serious champ. I can't believe I got this thing for what I got it for. So let's talk about that now. So the ad said $3,000 or best offer. So I went over there just to check it out at first with no intention of taking it home that day. I came home, did some quick like back of the napkin math, and decided I think $1,500 might be worth it. It's just in case I gotta buy all new computers, something's wrong with the engine. You know, things for this bike is extremely expensive, and if you were to take this to Ducati, they're gonna charge you an arm and a leg just to fix this thing. So I went back with an offer. He said the $2,000 was the lowest he'd go. I asked him if he'd meet me in the middle, and we settled at $1,750. And I think that's a phenomenal deal. Then I spent about $150 on the coils. I spent $160 on the exhaust, and the electronics cost $410 to get repaired. So that's a pretty good deal. We got this thing for less than $3 grand riding. I mean, all it really needs now is a Desmo service, and I can do that myself. I think the belts are a couple $100, and you can rent the valve shims. So that's going to be in a future video, and I'm going to be taking this thing on a ride this weekend. I may or may not film it. That'll be more like a vlog almost. But appreciate you guys watching, and if you want to stick around and see some more content, hit that subscribe button. Thanks.
I've been in your waters.